I don't know why when I start speaking English, it becomes a little bit more professional. You know,
Okay.
I don't ask me why. Maybe because it was for the job I've done in London. But that being
Okay.
said, I'm doing this because um, do you know what happens? Like me, like many other people that are very passionate about tattoos and tattooers, of course, they follow their favorite tattooers on social media, and they used to know just whatever they able to see through social media. You know,
Mm-hmm.
in many cases, just pictures or tattoos. But at the end of the day, like what it means for me, a tattoo is not just a tattoo, but it's the full experience with the person you're getting tattooed by. So it would be nice to, to just have a very very nice chat with the tattooers I appreciate and I have a lot of respect with, and to show a little bit more than what social media is able to do, or tattooers want to show on social media. It's not that I'm going to ask you, what is done yesterday, or you know it's just just a chat to know a bit more,
Yeah.
to know a bit more about you. Even because I'm very curious,
Okay.
myself. It might be sometimes it might be a question that might look silly for a lot of people. They know you, but for a lot of people, they don't know anything more than your tattoos. It's very interesting,
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to know. First of all, I would like to know when did you start tattooing, but more more exactly, like if there was like a specific moment on experience that clicked into your mind that said, I want to be a tattooer, you know
Okay. So I started tattooing 20 years ago. So this is my 20th year. So 2004.
okay.
I started tattooing in Padova, in my little city, in my little, like I was living with a friend of mine. I was just tattooing in the living room.
Rome.
Pardon?
Where was it?
In Padova.
In Padua. Okay.
Padova, yeah.
Yeah.
So north of Italy. So I don't know, like exactly. So I remember my first experience where I went like, "Fuck, this is awesome."
Yeah, that's
When I was, yeah, I was like 14 years old, and I used to buy this like, magazine with like metal and hardcore bands and stuff. I don't even remember the name of the magazine because my memory is very shit. But I remember I remember seeing like an advert for a tattoo convention in Bologna. And, at that stage, I was like 14. And like I couldn't just say to my parents, I want to go to Bologna by myself. So I managed to convince them to take
Wow.
me to the convention. And just by saying it was like a cultural event with like art exhibitions and stuff. And I don't know why they said yes. So they
Yeah.
took me there, and they pay. I remember my mom being like, "Fuck, it's expensive to go in, right?" Like she didn't expect that. And she was like, I remember getting into the place, and my mom like kind of looking around, just seeing weird people going in. And as soon as I crossed the door, I was just off. Like I took off. I started looking at all, the rows with all of the booths and the buzzing of machines, and like I was just looking at what people are getting tattooed, and like I was just so amazed by everything. And I think I lasted probably 45 minutes until I felt my mom. She just like pulled me out of that place. She was like, "You're never gonna come in any of these places ever again. People are doing drugs here. That's not okay." Like she was like, not having it. And I was like, but I didn't see nothing. Like it was so cool. Like the tattoos were so amazing. My mom was like, "How the fuck did I even let myself get convinced to take in this place?" She was like, "What the actual fuck?" She did not expect me to do that in the first place. But I think that was the moment that I think, because nobody in my family had tattoos, so that wasn't, aside from rock stars, I didn't think that normal people could get tattoos. Like it wasn't like, or until that point, it never really registered for me. But then when I went to that convention, I was like, that's it. I'm gonna get tattoos. And I liked fucking little butterflies and all that super girly shit that I'm glad I never got done. But
I was a 14 years old when you went to
yeah,
Bologna. convention, yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was the first time.
and then so thank you Bologna Tattoo Convention that made you that click, you know, that fall in love with tattoos. And obviously your parents. I mean, I think my parents and many parents would. Maybe they didn't know what they were taking you up. Well,
Yeah.
uh, what? But then, like from 14 years old to from that day to when did it happen? How
I
did it?
started tattooing around 24. So from that, I was just like, I didn't really chase it, didn't really stay in my mind, but it started coming into my life because I was all into hardcore music, and I was in Padova, so very close to Venice, and Kratz was already tattooing, and he was tattooing all of the hardcore kids. So I known him since I was underage, so I couldn't get tattooed by him.
Yeah.
So, but I've been around that, and just being in. I think I was very lucky because my approach to tattooing was through him that loved Japanese tattooing and traditional tattooing. So that was, I think it was a very good, like I saw things in a way that probably it would have taken me a lot longer to appreciate, because you, especially in Italy, where do you see full Japanese bodysuits? In the early, like mid 90s, fucking nowhere, like there was only a few people. Pinker in Genova was doing them, and like it was it was a small selected number of people. If you saw people with sleeves, it was already like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like leave alone back pieces, unseen, it
Yeah.
was. So I think I was exposed to him. Then I went off to uni. I did my all other, graffiti, and I got lost in other things.
What did you study in the university?
I studied cinema and arts. It was a short degree. So it was about like the more like the logistic of getting stuff made. So what it takes to make a movie or a festival or that kind of stuff, like one of those. Um, and then I just had an experience in a shop in Italy, and that did not work out well. It really did not work out well, but I learned a lot of things that, sometimes you learn things that you don't want to do. Like you don't learn good
Yeah.
things, but that they're
Yeah.
bad things.
Yeah.
So after that experience, I just started tattooing at home. I had friends in my hometown, Babu, that helped me out. And then from there, I just went to London and started getting tattooed by Young Flower. And that's where I really got my first real help. I started getting my sleeves done by him. And this was like 2004. London had less than 10 good studios, and everything else was like Camden levels, So, and it was people weren't traveling so easily to get tattooed either. So I think when I started traveling from, Italy to England, and there was like the pound against the fucking euro was like, it was so expensive. And I was a waitress, and, just I was delivering newspapers. Like I had shitty jobs.
In London. In London.
This was in Padova still.
Oh,
So when I started traveling there,
okay.
it would take me 2 months to get enough money to pay for one session. So my sleep took some time, but I think Ian appreciated the fact that I was traveling. And then he was like, what do you do? And I said, I'm learning tattooing. He's like, where? From my house. And he was self-taught as well. So he really helped me out. He landed me in self-safari machines after 2 times he saw me. And I was like, why are you giving me these machines? Are you insane? Like, it's like, but I was using shitty machines. Like, I don't even remember what make they were. Like, they were the ones that you buy in the fucking catalogs. It's like the worst machines ever. So he really helped me out. He introduced me to a whole new side of tattooing that I never seen before or didn't know anything about, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting how much hassle you went through, from Italy, working like shitty job, saving money to go and get a sleep in UK when the pound was 2-1 maybe at the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
When I went to London for the first time, that I moved there, it was like 150, and then maybe like in 2004 it was even worse. So you
It was
you
pretty
pay,
bad.
and then for the travel and everything. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think at least, I mean, I don't think so in London, but do you think there's many times I happen in a conversation where we the talk goes about women within the tattoo world and how they
Hmm.
did you experience any of
Weirdness.
yeah.
Well, not really. Like, I have to be honest, like, apart from the fact that I am quite, I'm a bit shy. I'm definitely less, when I was 20 years old, I was a lot more shy than what I am now, and probably a lot more insecure. But I'm also a pain in the ass, and I'm Italian. I'm quite outspoken and a little bit blunt, and I come off a lot of the times very rude. So I think that, I don't give out the vibe that you can fuck with me that easily. Just because I'm a fucking loud mouth, like, I'm all bark, but like, then, I'm insecure as anyone else. But so I never had that, customers would be a little bit weird. Maybe it's like, oh, is she good? Like, stuff like that. But I'm trying also to put myself in their mindset. I was here, I was young. My English wasn't that great. Maybe I wasn't even maybe selling myself very well. So instead of, like, I never saw myself as, oh, I'm the only girl in the room. First of all, because I wasn't. I worked with Nicole Lowe, there was Saira Hanjan, and so many female tattooers. There were many, but I saw that it was possible to be successful and to be a good tattooer and being a woman. So that to me, it wasn't even ever like a big deal until people start making a big deal. They were like, oh, how is it to be a female in the business? And I was like, oh, I guess, yeah, there's no, that afterwards, like, for what people were saying, I was thinking more about it. But I had so many, like, and to be honest, men have been more helpful than women in the tattoo industry towards me. So I can't, I can't say anything bad. And I don't even want to make it about a gender thing. I think the men and women behave completely different. I think there are always going to be misunderstandings, that, and every single person, anyways, think in a different way. So I can't blame any disagreement on the fact that I'm a woman. It's like, if there is like, I don't want to make it that way, because if I make it that way, I am a victim always, right? And I don't like it, because I'm not. Like, being a victim, it means that you're not in control of your
Awesome.
surroundings, and it's very different. I'm not in a fucking war zone. I'm not being physically threatened by anyone. If somebody is being an asshole to me, I'm not gonna think as like, oh, because I'm a woman, he's a misogynist and he's this, is that. No, he's just an asshole. That's it. Like, I'm not gonna put myself in the place of, of giving power to that person based on the fact that, I'm a woman. So that's how I see it. Like, so, and I don't wanna, and also think like, oh, I'm a woman and I managed to do all of these things and, being like successful and this and that. Oh, well done me. Like, what if I have two hands? Is my brain less
Yeah.
capable like than a man? Like, am I putting myself below a fucking man? If I was working in a, in a petrol, or like in an oil fucking station in the middle of the ocean, I'll be like, yeah, well done, Claudia. That's a tough job, but we're doing tattoos here.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
incredibly physical, demanding job. So I'm not gonna treat myself like it's harder for me because I'm less than.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Fair enough.
Very unpopular opinion.
Can I say? Yeah, it's a very unpopular opinion, especially coming from a woman. Okay, but and it's a very tough. No, I mean, unpopular because maybe many people think so, but not so many people. Like you said, you're outspoken. They like to say what they think. But I
But
think,
also, it's true, it does take a certain personality to be surrounded by a bunch of men. And I'm
but
very comfortable with
that's
that.
that's part of the that's on you. That's part of why like you said, men and women, sometimes they equal, sometimes there's different, the like personality. So it's not about men and woman. It's about how that man is and how that woman is. So in your case, you are this kind of woman. You made it maybe in a world. Maybe sometimes it could be different than another industry. So it's part of the game.
But also,
Personality.
exactly, 100%. And also, we're talking about tattoos, right? Like, I remember when I met Tato, he was like, "Are you a sailor or are you a prostitute?" Because tattooing comes from there, man. Like, tattooing comes from the fucking lowest of the lowest. So, what are you trying to do? Like, are you expecting people that maybe never even went to fucking school, that are dropouts, but maybe been to prison, that had like addictions to heavy drugs, to be what, sensitive to you? It's like, it's, if you want that,
Yeah.
you're choosing the wrong fucking place. Like, that's what tattooing comes from. Like, you need to be aware of it. Like, you can't expect them to treat you as if you were in a fucking high society club. It's just that you want to be a tattooer. That's what it means, dealing with people that you might not cross normally in your daily life, and you need to learn how to navigate their circumstances.
Yes, that's Claudia. This is a very, very interesting point. Do you know why? Because sometimes, always, look, I speak as what I hear and what I listen, and I listen a lot to that word because I love this word. And sometimes, always within conversation, I feel like there is this willing of chasing um, a tattoo world, which is described as a little bit being lost right now. And they chasing the tattoo world is chasing the old school of tattooing. They're a little bit romantic, say, we lost that. But at the same times, they chasing that, but at the same time, they don't like it. That's what I feel. They chasing a world which they don't like it 100%. So sometimes they're like, the old good age. I mean, the gold times and blah blah blah, the old school, and now it's not anymore the same. But yeah, but then the generations like my age, like I'm 35 years old. When I hear those stuff, then at the same time I hear also speaking about so many other things that wouldn't go alongside with the world of tattooing as we know it. So that, that's why sometimes I don't get it. Like either you like it 100% because you miss it, or you don't. So yeah, that's the
I
thing.
think it's often though two different kind of people, but I understand. But it's true, there is this general thing where everybody's bitching about social media, but guys, social media makes us fucking busy. Like, so, you know what I mean? So there's always two sides of a coin.
Yeah,
Like, you can't, like, yeah, you might hate, uh, fucking Miami Ink or all of these TV shows, but since then, tattooing went, like, brought money to everybody.
yeah,
And it opened up the gates to all sorts of, like, to so much more. Okay, so I think there's right now there's so many people, like, I started that already. Probably I was, so let's say the original tattooing, it's right here, right?
yeah,
And like, it's the sun, right? And then you get like all these little planets that start going and around it, right? And every generation is a different planet, and the more generation comes, the further away they go from the sun.
yeah.
So I think this is what's happening. So I am already aware, I have a degree, I come from a middle class, working class Italian family. there's no tragedy, like, you know, there's no
No drama.
no drugs, no drunks, like no fucking big traumatizing experiences in my life. So I'm already coming from a generation that is a little bit more further away from that, you know, are you a sailor or are you a prostitute type of, you know, core to it. So add to that another 2 generations, we are even further away. And I think because of social media, now it's even like exponentially, some of the people that's been tattooing for fucking 3-4 years, they don't even understand where tattooing comes from. They have no fucking concept of it. So, you know, there are different universes. It's like different galaxies to me. And I think that the tattooing that I loved and that a lot of people loved is it's going underground again. It's going, you know, for a few years, for a decade, and maybe a little bit more, was mainstream. You know, like when Chris Garva was, you know, in Miami Ink, like, you know, you have a fucking the top of tattooing being shown worldwide and people are loving that. Okay? That's the fucking everybody's dream. Everybody wants sick tattoos. Wow. Now that's not the case because there's Pinterest, because there's social media, because of all of that stuff. Now we are going back to shitty, tiny little 3-line tattoos. You know, they take like just a little bit of technique, but there's no soul to it whatsoever. And for me, that's the mainstream, and what we like, it's again underground. So everybody, you want it underground tattooing, you got it. What it means you have to work even harder to be fucking busy, because most of the people don't give a fuck about what you're doing. They don't understand it, that doesn't speak to them. So we're going back, and there's some poetry to it, you know, there's some romance about it, but there's a lot of struggle also.
Yeah.
But everything goes in a circle, so I'm sure that we're all gonna back up again at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not scared about that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So, what's your relation with social media, and how do you cope with that? Do you like it? You don't? You think what's the buzz about it? Well,
I think, you know, it's impossible not to be somewhat influenced in many ways by it. Like you can be like as the more you use it, the more it's gonna fuck up your brain. Like and or like no, but it's gonna warp the way, you know, that you think and that you create. Like because you're putting stuff in there,
yeah,
right? So already you're seeing and your brain is going in there. So you're thinking maybe to be like clever or, you know, innovative or something, and no, you just simply seen it somewhere else unconsciously, so it's in the back of your mind, so already is kind of like contaminating your personal creative process. And on top of that, the like situation, I think it takes a very, very, very strong minded and not giving a fuck type of person to not have affect you. So I think, you know, it takes some, you need to break it down, you need to learn how to use it, you need to understand that even if you like a tattoo so much, the like number is not correlated to the importance that that tattoos has in your personal growth as an artist. And it doesn't mean that that tattoo is less good than another one just because of that. But it's really hard to always talk yourself into that place, because otherwise I think a lot of people, if there's not that consciousness, you're gonna get stuck. You're gonna get stuck in whatever gives you likes, whatever gives you that you know, dopamine confirmation or whatever. So there are elements that can stop you from progressing in your creativity. And sometimes, you know, creativity is not a straight line. You can fucking go the whole other way, and that's maybe where you're actually supposed to be. But if you expect people to understand what you're doing and be like, oh yeah, keep on going that way. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So I think I try to limit my use of it. But it's necessary to also use it, because I've done a couple of years where I posted like not even 10 pictures. And I did feel like, my appointments were like the requests were going slower. So I think it's just normal. People kind of forget you exist.
Yeah.
But, I try to be, yeah, to keep like a healthy distance between what I put, like what I think about what I'm doing. And I need to look at a tattoo and just know why I like it, why I think it's good. And then I put it up, and I don't need to care at all about what people are saying about that tattoo. But that comes only with, with knowing your own worth.
Okay. Yeah. Did at any time, in any way in the past, social media affected, your creativity, or you thought, look, maybe I should stop looking, watching and being on social media because I'm watching too many other, reference, or, other tattooers, and it's affecting me and it's influencing me in a bad way that I don't want that to happen, or anything that similar?
I think it did, like, and I think, I don't remember exactly when or what. And also, like, I follow a lot of tattooers, but I follow a lot of other shit. So my my feed doesn't really have too much
Okay.
tattoos. Like, so I think, put in either photographers, graffiti writers, like, some politics or some funny fucking memes, some spiritual shit in there, like, a little bit of everything. Like, I think that's maybe how it helped me, because at first I was like, oh my God, I can follow all of these amazing tattooers. And it's just like, what? It's just like your brain goes fucking like melt down, right? But now I learned that actually, like, everything, most of my inspiration for tattoos, it comes from something else. I have mostly, art books, and like a lot of art. I love architecture. Architecture inspires me in tattoos. Don't ask me how, but I look at a beautiful building and I get inspired from that. So I try to it's not so much about an image anymore for me. It's like a feeling. And if I feel inspired by something beautiful, that will create in me like something that makes me want to
Yeah.
create myself as well,
I've seen your last back piece. You done for session.
Yeah,
That was
mental.
amazing. Like, you didn't disappoint anyone with that one. That was outstanding. And
Thank you.
how would you go? How would you your when I come to you and say, I want a back piece. How did your creative process? How does it work? Like, what can you would you? There is any way to explain it, like for people like me that are not tattooers? Like, I come to you and say, look, Claudia, I like what you do.
Yeah.
My favorite subject is an eagle, and I like your all the rest that you do. That's it. Like, how does it happen?
How do I go from there? So generally, I talk to the person, or I get a little bit of an idea through the emails, and I see their body shape. I always ask a little bit to send references of things that I've done that they like, so I understand the vibe, right? And then I take it from there. And then, a lot of it is based on the body shape as well. Like that customer that I did the Sphinx back piece on, she wanted either that, or it was kind of like a composition of like a woman with a skeleton. And I was like, no, that just doesn't like it. I don't think I know also the limitation in my drawing. So I was like, it requires too much anatomy knowledge that I don't have. So, and I couldn't see it working. I felt like her back was gonna be divided in two, and instead I liked something that kind of went across rather than like cutting in a half. So I just like, for me, it's a lot about the body shape and trying to do something that suits the body, that like flows nicely. I think that's the most important part. When I got my back done by Oritsuki Kage, so Shad, in Belgium, he was the reason why I chose him. It was because despite but also I really liked the colors he used because they are really dark and muddy in a sense, but also he was one of a few tattooers that he understood the shape of female bodies, so like a lot of like it's so important where a back piece starts on a woman or on a man. Like you can't, some people go all the way up with the neck. I was like, great, you just killed that woman's back, man. Like you're just making her look like this. Like, so I'm like 177 centimeters. I'm a tall girl, so I'm very conscious of that. So the last thing I wanted is to have a back piece that made me look even bigger.
Yeah.
So for me, how a tattoo sits on the body, it needs to complement that person. Like that's like if you kill the body shape, like that's a fail. Like it's a beautiful picture, but if that body looks like, that's why Japanese bodies are so amazing, because the cuts or where the background goes and everything, they are fucking perfect. They are cut on the body amazingly. It's like I don't know, or tribal. Like for me, that's number one. And then the subject, I don't know. Each subject is different, and everybody's got different opinions about it. Like when you go even on Japanese back pieces, for some people the subject in the middle of the back needs to be small. For some other people, needs to be big. It's all about what you like, of course.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying, like, when it comes to Japanese stuff, I love so many different schools, like from Oritoshi, to Oritsune, like there's so many different approaches you can have. But I'm very aware that I'm Western as well, so I don't feel like I'm not gonna go all in, Oritoshi style, because first of all, I'm a Gemini. It's impossible for me to stick to one thing. Impossible. I cannot do it. And second, I'm not part of that culture. I haven't been apprenticing under him. I haven't been tattooed by him. I met him a few times. It's amazing. But I'm not part of that. So I'm not going to feed off that. But I can study it and apply some things to what I do and try to come up with something that works, So that's what I'm trying to do.
Wow.
I don't know if I answer your question, but every back requires a different approach. But I start always from the body shape.
Is there any memorable tattoos that you remember that be like an amazing experience, even for you making it? Like what I mean, I believe they all are sorts.
Yeah.
But is there anyone that like you just remember being a little bit special and a little bit different than all the others?
Well, I think when you do back pieces, you spend so much time with that person that you definitely form like a connection with them.
Yeah.
And I have a few customers. Some of them are so sweet. They even remember my birthday, and they send me like like it's just a happy birthday on my birthday. Like people with that they are just so amazing, special, and trusting, and they would sit for 6 hours in pain, like do full day sessions. And throughout, maybe the mom got diagnosed with cancer or stuff like that. Like it's just very heavy. I have a customer of mine that a few years ago I did a Princess Mononoke on her back, and she was at the Bataclan. Do you remember the terrorist attack in this club in Paris a few years ago, like
Oh,
some
yeah.
that went in, and she was at that concert.
Wow.
So yes, so when she came for her appointment after that, and I could see she was a little bit not herself. I was like, hey, what's going on? It's like,
Was
I
straight
have
after? Did she get
huh?
straight after that?
Yeah, she's
Okay.
a French, and she got tattooed. We were in between the sessions because it was our back. So when she came to carry on her back, she was like, hey, I gotta tell you this thing that happened to me, and I think that your tattoo saved me. Like, so it's just like, yeah, she was like, I could feel like, the protection and stuff, and I'm very grateful. I'm so grateful to be here. And so I have like, it just give me the chills a little bit. Just like it's so amazing. For me, doing large pieces is great because you have the chance to share moments of your life with other people that are also going through their life. And, there's like this interconnection that if it wasn't for that tattoo, you would have never met. So
Yeah, sometimes I see all around social media a meme about, like tattoo therapy, like,
mhm.
or like I see jokes like, tattooers, like they do like, I'm not a psychiatrist or whatever. But I think, of course, it's not like that. But, when you go back and forth, maybe for 6, 7 months for, your back piece, fully bodysuit and stuff like this, you start seeing your tattooer and going through a lot of pain, and you see the tattooer maybe more often than you see any other friends that you have, because in Italy it's a bit different, Claudia. But like I remember when I was in London, it was really tough to keep seeing all my friends, because one was living there, another there.
Yeah.
So I was ending seeing more, like maybe more the tattooers than anybody else. And I believe that when you go through something like this, you have time to talk.
Mhm.
If you get tattooed by a person, if you choose Claudia, for example, it's because you want to get tattooed. So it's a full experience. Then I understand why. So that's why I'm saying, like, sometimes I do that. I do get the joke about, tattooer saying, I'm not a psychiatrist or whatever, but I get at the same time where, you get that connection with your tattooers, where you share moments of your life that they've been very great or they've been really shitty, and then
Yeah.
you get this relationship. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, I like that. Like, I know some people say it as if it is a problem, but imagine that, like, my customer, for example, your mom is being diagnosed with terminal cancer and you're still here getting tattooed by me. Like, you could be with your mom and you're still choosing to be here with me. Like, I'm fucking grateful,
Yeah.
like, and it also reminds you, like, it's very hard, like, nowadays, and I do think that you kind of attract the people that you need in your life. Like, I'm a little bit woo-woo with stuff like that, like, I think that people comes through your life to teach you something. And
Exactly.
it's up to you to, you know like, imagine, like, if you have both your parents healthy, and this person is like, if you're open to understand what's going on with them and how they're feeling, isn't like a moment for you to understand how grateful you need to be that your parents are both healthy, or like, or think that one day it might be them, so maybe it's best if you fix up all the shit that you have going on with them or whatever. It's just like, for me, it's a gift, like, because
Absolutely, yes. Very wise. Very
yeah,
wise word. I agree 100%.
yeah, it's awesome. It's a really good part of tattooing. Like, it's not just sit down, get tattooed, shut the fuck up and leave. Like, it's not just that. There's a fun part to it, right? Like, it's like, that's the old school way, and it's like, yeah, it's fun, but why? Because tattoo places are all fucking a place where people would go and have a banter, just like that. They like going to the pub or whatever. Like, so now it used to be one tattooer in his fucking little shop, and all the lads would go there, and get tattooed and whatever. And then now you have a room with 4 or 5 people tattooing 4 or 5 other people minimum. There's shops with fucking 10 stations, right? So it's a different environment, and it's different times. I think it's still beautiful, but it's still that one-on-one moment with blood. It's like what's get more like fucking real than like having blood pouring out of somebody. It's something. Like, it is something. You need to like fucking, and you're putting something in them like that has got your energy, and you need, like, I don't know. I think that's magic still.
It
It's
is.
not like the social media. It's that one-on-one in that moment that hasn't changed since the beginning of fucking tattooing. That's what I think.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing. Any convention we'll be able to see you soon?
So Aachen and Catania,
Okay.
and there's that tattoo lab
Yeah,
in
in Italy.
Naples. Yes. So those are the next one that I have still going on this year.
Okay. And any other project you're working on? Anything,
I got always project going on. That's my problem. It's just always shit happening.
if you want to
What?
see, otherwise it's okay.
No, it's cool. Like, it's just I'm working on a personal, on a solo exhibition.
Okay.
Uh, hmm?
London?
Yes, it's gonna be in London. I'm thinking maybe to take it to Italy because it's gonna be a little bit of a personal one. It's gonna be dedicated to my dad who passed away 3 years ago. So it's kind of like it's been a long coming thing. For a while, I couldn't really paint. I wasn't very inspired to do it. So, so the idea is to do it in London and maybe take it to Italy.
Padua?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. That will come. Like, I'm very much like, things will drop when they need to drop, and I will know where to go with it. So that's my main focus at the moment. Kind of want to put a book together for my 20th anniversary, and then what else? I just want to do things to push the shop. The shop is going great, but I like to create, like, because everything is online, I like to have a physical space where people can actually get together. So like some event for the shop. So we have on the 8th of September, I think we're doing like a little party thing because we renovated the shop and it's 6 years of a shop being open. So we're gonna do that, and then I've got some other ideas and stuff, but it's all logistics trying to make happen. So yeah, that's the main things that are happening.
I look forward to it. Maybe I'll come to London and I'll see.
That'll be cool.
I've never seen the shop.
Yeah, it's a cute little place.
Yeah. You know what? I lived 10 years in London, Claudia, and then I start to get, into tattooing maybe the last 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I left and I was like, what the fuck? There was one of the places, where to. And then I went to live in Spain for another 4 years. So, I mean, Madrid, well, of course, there's much doing about tattooing, but it's not London, So,
yeah.
But yeah, I need to come back many times.
Yes.
Grazie mille.
No, grazie a te.